Alright, I think we're live here. Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome to another live stream for the game Gemstone Legends. It's been a few weeks. Things have been extremely hectic for me, and I haven't had much time to join in for a stream. Found some time today, and so I thought I would jump on and do a quick video here. Mainly I wanted to talk about the two heroes that are available. So there is the special event that's happening right now, the Blade from the Shadows. So this was an extremely difficult one to actually complete, because you have to get 20 big dust for all the different colors plus the moon dust. And then on top of that, you needed to also spend some gold scrolls. And so probably not something that many people will be able to get. And so I figure I will be able to do a video on Koharu and talk about how she is, what I think about her. And also we're going to talk about Lee, the latest legendary hero that was introduced. So I have him right now. Don't have him at 6 stars. I have him at 5 stars right now, still leveling him up. And I'll talk about his skills. There are some things that are a little bit weird about his skills right now. We'll talk about that as well. And I'm going to give my my quick review on them. So first, let's take a look at the epic hero, which is Koharu. So Koharu is a green hero, and so if you take a look at her skill, she resembles Rogar. Okay, so her skill, now this is at level 7, so not max level just yet. Right now, level 7, she deals 378% attack as damage, and it ignores 20% defense. Come William Deep, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining here. And then passive ability, 30% damage if you are against a single enemy, and then another 30% more damage if her HP is below 50%. So she deals more damage the more damage she absorbs, but that doesn't mean that you should make her tanky. Okay, so that's one thing you want to watch out for. The thing here is she is essentially made to go up against the Skyron raid boss, because she is immune to decreased speed, decreased attack, and freeze, which is essentially what Skyron does. Okay, and so if you use her, you should be able to do some good damage here. And so we're going to talk about how I've equipped her, and then I'm going to sort of put her up against a couple of other heroes so that you can see what she's like. Let's see, Come LMT, if you got Koharu with only completing 3 of the dust quests and you just open a bunch of scrolls. Yeah, in the end, I probably could have just done that, because honestly, to get Lee, I opened close to 300, and so I think I could have just simply gone through that route and would have saved me a bunch of time. But then I earned a bunch of, different dusts, so I was able to awaken some heroes, so it worked out in the end. So with Koharu, you just want to make sure that you can give her, lots of attack, quite a bit of critical damage, and you do want to make sure that you have enough critical rate. I don't have quite enough, so 85% is what you want to shoot for, because with 85% critical rate, when you go up against a blue enemy, then you're going to be guaranteed to hit a critical damage all the time. With 82%, there's a 3% chance where I'm not going to get critical damage. The reason for that is because when you go up against a strong affinity, like where you're strong against them, so green against blue, for example, you get a 15% critical rate bonus. So that means you just need 85% to reach that 100% threshold, and once you reach 100% against an enemy, your every single hit is going to be a critical damage. With 82, there's still that 3% where I don't get it. So that's the thing. I don't have quite enough for critical rate right now, and I do have some challenges where I've equipped so many of my heroes, I'm starting to run out on my artifacts. And so this is what I've gone with. I decided to go with the Crusher set so I can gain additional critical damage. And then I did go with the critical rate glove in this case. So when you go with the critical rate, try to find something that gives you critical damage as well. So this is what I have. In this situation, I would have liked to have one with attack or a little bit more critical damage, but I didn't have one. Okay, but the rest of them I went with attack boost, and again, where I can, try to give yourself a little bit more critical rate, try to give yourself critical damage if possible. It may not be always possible, but you just do what you can. So I was able to make up for it in the other Crusher set. So you can see I had one here for 14%, and I had no one for 13%. So that's how I was able to make it up a little bit. So I have 146% here 4 stars awakened, so I still need to farm a little bit more to get the moon dust in order to awaken her more. And then she's all about attack. So if I can get 6 stars awakened, I'll be able to get another 25% of attack on her. And so Khan, you waited until Lee was available to open all your scrolls. You still didn't pull him. That's unfortunate. I actually do kind of feel personally that they need to tweak their summoning system a little bit now that there's so many more heroes, and you know, it's a lot different than how it was before, right? And I don't know that it's so. Personally, I opened almost 300 today, and I got 1 legendary hero, and luckily it was not something other than Lee, so I was lucky there. But I've had guildmates that have pulled 3, 4, 5 different legendaries, and they were not the boosted hero. And you know, a lot of people will say it's RNG, it's just how it is, but I do think that there's room for improvements. Okay, anyways, what I want to do though is not talk about that. I wanted to show you guys how Koharu compares with other heroes. So 2 of the heroes that I also use against Skyron are Pan, who has really good stats, also deals damage to, you know, 445 attack actually, ignores defense, and has a 40% chance to use her special ability twice. Okay, stats not too bad. Base attack is a little bit lower, so she's at 3,883 right now. Koharu's base stats already a little bit higher at 60, not fully awakened just yet. So I think that, you know, with Pan, I did also try to equip her as much as I could, and so it's just that the base stats a little bit lower. Gildor is another one where if you have, you know, with every positive status, you're going to get more damage out of him, and he also deals more damage against enemies below 20%. And so both of these are going to be good, and in fact, Gildor has higher attack right now with where he's at. So I'm going to compare these 3. We're going to take a look and see how they fare. So we're going to go up against a, you know, the blue boss in a rift. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do an auto battle for now. You're going to sort of see the amount of damage that they can do, but we're going to really be able to see the damage against the rift boss itself. So right now we're just kind of going against, so 14,000, 14,000. You can see that Koharu actually outdamaged Gildor, but that's because Gildor didn't have any boost. Okay, so it's a little bit of an unfair comparison in that case, but you can also sort of say that, well, in the situation where you can't boost your heroes, Koharu actually works out a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually fight now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to get myself ready. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of my skills available for now, and then I'm going to use them all at the same time, including the boosts that will be coming from Streetbach. Okay, and so my hope is that I don't die. I don't think I will, but we're going to try and get everything going, and then we're going to compare the damage. Okay, so there is an increased defense, and we'll hopefully be able to get. Hopefully, we can use. I wanted to use Xavier's skill to actually dispel it, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and wait for everything to be available, and then we're going to go ahead and do the comparison. All right. So he's going to attack Streetbach. That's okay. And let's see. Oh, I guess I'm not going to be able to take away. I will. All right. So none of these are debuffers. So I'm going to go ahead and use one, Streetbach skill. So now Gildor has 6 boost on him. All right. The boss is not below 25%, so Gildor's not going to get the extra boost. But let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to get Koharu. Koharu is also not under 50%, so she also doesn't have her bonus either. So we'll start with Koharu. Koharu deals 5,699. Okay, but you can see that Pan was able to deal almost 5,000, and if this was a single hero, she most likely would have damaged twice, and that would have given her about 9,000, a little bit over 9,000. And we have Gildor, at 7,000. So actually, in this comparison right now, Koharu isn't actually the highest damage dealer. Okay, Koharu in this case actually is the lowest damage dealer, just because of the situation. Right. So in this particular case, Koharu deals less damage because the situation favored Gildor. You saw that Gildor dealt 7,000 with only a single positive boost, so you can see that his damage was lower in that situation. And so in a case where you're not gonna have a lot of buffers, Koharu is going to deal more damage for you. But where she really gonna shine is her native passive ability to simply be immune to speed, decrease attack, and freeze. So that means you don't really need to bring a spell shield for her. Instead, what you bring is you want to bring somebody that can give her attack boost, critical damage boost, and you want something that can weaken your opponents, and then you can just kind of let her be. Okay, and the idea here is if you have multiple copies of her, then you'll be able to go up against any opponents, especially the blue boss, and you'll be able to deal a lot of damage. It's just like Rogar. Okay, so Rogar is a hero that we still can't pull multiples of just yet, but he is, very similarly, he's immune to burn, bleed, and poison, so it makes him perfect for Vermin, the red boss. All right, so these are the two heroes that are going to be awesome for your raid boss heroes. But Koharu by herself, if you don't have Street Block running, if you don't have heroes that can give you lots and lots of buffs, she's in general going to give you a little bit more damage than Gildor. And in terms of health though, so let's take a look, right? So Koharu is an assassin type. Her health right now is at 23,000, and Gildor, which is a little bit higher, is at 27,000. So that's an attacker warrior. And I mean, I have very similar setup for all these. Okay, so like, I don't have any health. I don't have any health for primary stats, right? No HP percentage, and so there's going to be a little bit of variance here and there. But you can see, like Gildor has a little bit better survivability. He's also got a little bit better attack right now. But that's the comparison. Now let's take a look at Lee. Okay, so I'm going to show you how Lee works right now, and we're going to go jump into this fight. So I'm going to show you I'm going to show you how he works. Then we're going to talk about his skill. Then I'm going to give you my opinion on what he's like. Okay, so we're going to get a couple of attacks. He should be able to survive these hits, and then you're going to see what he's going to do. All right, so we're going to have Lee attack, and then kill the opponent, but then nothing happens afterwards. This is the bug I wanted to show you. Okay, so I've been looking at this. I've been leveling him, and as I was leveling him, he actually exhibited a different behavior than now. Now that he's stronger, he's able to kill opponents in a single shot, and he's no longer doing what I expected him to do. I brought this up in Discord as well, in the official Discord, so I'm hoping that we're going to get a response to that, because I think that based on the description, I believe that this is actually not the correct behavior. All right, so you saw kind of like, very, very basic stuff, like what's so special about it? Well, let's take a look at his skill. Okay, so this is Lee. He's only a 5-star right now, so he's not as strong as the other heroes that I can show you, but right now I have him built for speed. Not as fast as he could be, because I don't have the greatest equipment right now. So 330 is all I'm able to get right now out of him. Ideally, I want him to be running closer to 400. Okay, because if you take a look at his skill, first he'll deal damage 6 times to an enemy. At level 1, every attack is 24%. So basically, every time you do damage, every time you activate, guarantees 6 hits. And each time it's for 24%. Okay, so I mean, if you kind of multiply it, 24 times 6, right? That's 144% total. So it's essentially the same as like getting 144% boost in attack for a hero, which is not that high. It does go up to 28.5%, and then for every strike, you have a 5% chance, going up to 7% total at max, to gain increased critical damage. Okay, so basically, like, assuming your first hit triggers it, then the subsequent hits are going to deal more damage because you have 50% more critical damage. His passive ability is where speed matters. So if his speed is higher than the target's, then he'll be guaranteed to use his special ability twice. If his speed is faster than 50, like 50 higher than your opponent's, then it's supposed to activate a third time. And if the target is below 20%, his damage is increased by a further 50%. And if you go up to maximum ability, maximum level, the damage is increased to 100%. And, you know, so with the 3 times there, like, his damage starts becoming much better. So based on that description, what I was expecting to see is that when I go up against a wave, for example, when I'm hitting, so you can see that my stats right now, and I'm using Sigil as leader, so I'm actually gaining additional 17 in speed. Okay, so I'm getting additional 17 here, and all of the enemies here, their speeds are only at 215, you know, 200 somewhat. I think the highest you see is like 244, right? So I am well above 50 higher than, you know, than these enemies, but I'm not getting my second strike. When I first started out, when Lee was much weaker, he couldn't take him out in the first shot. So what happens is he'll hit him once, and then he'll hit again. And then the second hit is where he'll kill the opponent, and then he triggers his third hit against a different opponent. So he actually gets his 3 hits off. In this situation, he hits one time, kills the enemy, and then doesn't trigger his second or his third. But I've met my condition, right? I met the condition where I'm 50 speed higher, like higher than 50 in terms of speed than my opponent. So my expectation is that it should have triggered, because I saw him trigger his skill when he was against a single enemy, right? So I think that there's a bug here, and I really think that they need to fix it, because when I read his skill, that was my expectation, that if he were to, you know, if he were to attack an enemy that has lower speed than him, he's always going to trigger twice. And that's the reason why his skill is set up like this, because his, like, each of his attacks are weaker, but then if you combine all 3 is where Lee becomes, you know, comparable to other heroes. But if he only ever deals 1 damage, like he only just ever attacks 1 time, it's barely, like, it's just not quite enough, right? So let's go, I suppose let's try this, right? We'll go up against the purple boss here, right? So let's see. Instead of Raphael, let's go with Lee here. I used Raphael because I wanted to speed up the process a little bit and basically clear out the wave, right? So I'm going to use Streetbog as leader here. Again, Streetbog will give 17 speed to everyone. So Lee is going to, let's see, stats here. So Lee's not going to be faster against the boss in this case, but he is going to be faster than the wave, than the enemies here, right? 240, 262. So he should be at least, you know, faster. So take a look here, right? So like what you would have expected, see that? He actually used all 3 skills here, but he doesn't use, you see how this is inconsistent? He used the skill 1 time against the enemy. If he kills him, then you know, when he uses a skill to kill the opponent, then he doesn't use it. But if he doesn't kill the opponent, then he continues. So I want to see if I can, let's see. I want to try and deal damage to an opponent. Okay, perfect. So here you go. I'm going to go ahead and now use Lee's skill. Okay, so we're going to see what happens here. So he kills, right? He doesn't actually kill him. What I wanted to do is I wanted to deal enough damage so that he'll kill him on the second hit. Okay, so let's do this. 1. We're gonna also use this. I guess I'm not gonna be able to. Okay, so let's do this. So because I think what I can do is I can use Lee against Octavia here, assuming I don't die, which I do. Frustrating. Okay, I'm just gonna quit for now because I wanna come back. I want to show this situation where I hit him twice, kill the opponent on the second time, and then see him trigger his third attack. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Okay, so that's the part that I was, you know, a little surprised at, to be honest, because when I saw it in the beginning when he was weaker, it was, you know, it more or less matched my expectations. Okay. Okay, so I think I might be able to take out Gorak here with this attack. So let's try this. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna do this unboosted. Okay, so we'll unboost this. Maybe if I boost the next time, I'll be able to do it. It's actually kind of hard now that I'm trying to like simulate this in this way. Let's just go ahead and get all of these going here, right? And so 1, 2, 3. We'll try one more time. All right. And so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this one. Would I kill him outright? 1. Okay, so he's gonna kill him here, and you see he kills him on the second shot. Now the third shot, he goes and picks someone else. So this is what I'm talking about, right? Like if you were to say, look, once you kill an opponent, you're not supposed to trigger anymore, then fine, right? But look at what happened here. He actually killed an opponent and then went over to the second opponent and hit him. Pan has the same skill where if you take out the opponent and there's only one remaining, so like if there's only two enemies left, you kill the first one, she's gonna hit the second one. Okay, that's like assuming it triggers, that's gonna be like a guarantee. So this is actually a bug I think that needs to be addressed, because otherwise he's not performing at the he's not doing what he's supposed to, and he's a lot weaker than he's a lot weaker in this situation, because like he would have been a great wave clearer if this wasn't the case, right? You put him in, he's able to take out 3 enemies if you can build him fast enough. And keep in mind, you're sacrificing a lot by making him so speedy. Usually as like a pure attacker, you kind of have to balance a little bit. Like if you try to make him too speedy, you're sacrificing a lot. You're sacrificing his health, you're sacrificing some of his other stats. And so like look at, like, he's basically tickling the boss here. Like he's not able to really deal a lot of damage. Granted, he's not a 6 stars yet, and he doesn't have his full he doesn't have his full damage ability just yet, but he is essentially losing out on a lot of his damage. Now if I wanted to boost him for speed against a boss, which I technically can, okay, like I could theoretically get him over 417, so that would at least make him trigger twice, right? But but if it doesn't work against waves, then I'm losing time, right, using him against my enemies. And so this is my personal feeling, is that he's currently bugged, and because of this bug, he's not going to perform as well as he should. Okay, let's see. So Con William D, you know Pan when there are 2 opponents. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, right? When you kill 2 opponents, and we can see this actually happen with Pan, right? So let's go ahead and use Pan here. I actually really like using Pan for that reason, right? So let's go ahead and use Pan. Just kind of show you, like, when you have a passive ability that is supposed to trigger based on something, like it should just work. Now in this case, it doesn't say whether you kill an enemy or not. It just says when you're against a single enemy, you will attack twice, right? So let's go ahead and bring Lee back in here. Okay, so Pan's ability, right? In the passive, 40% chance to use her ability twice if only 1 enemy is alive. So let's go ahead and do this, right? So let's go ahead and say 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we are going to do this 1, 2. I think it's gonna be hard here because like if I had gotten her skill up, then I would have been able to show you. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. Okay, So her ability is available now. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use her skill in the next round. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Okay, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's see if she actually uses her skill twice. It doesn't always trigger. When it triggers, it will happen, okay? But we can try one more time to see it happen. But my point here is, in her case, it's a 40% chance of it happening, right? There is actually something that says 40%. Whereas with Lee, it's different. It is a guarantee as long as the speed is higher. So there's no, it's not a random chance. Like it is, or it's gonna happen, or it's not gonna happen. And so let's talk now about, enough about this bug. Let's talk about like team setup. Okay, so first let's talk about Koharu and what team setup would be good for her. Okay, so for Koharu, the best is if you can go up against, when you go up against an enemy, she obviously will benefit from anything that gives a attack boost. And I would say that, there's a few options you have. Okay, so some of the options you have, you can obviously go with, let's take out Gildor for now. So you can go with like some of the obvious ones if you have them, right? One would be, an example like Gaffadeth is an example, okay? Her ability gives attack boost. And also Aurora is another one that gives attack boost. I use them a lot. Another one that is a really good hero that synergizes well is going to be, which one is it? I think it's the Empire. Santos. So Santos is another one that's going to be a really good hero to use because his ability also grants increased attack, and he's a healer at the same time, and he's green, right? So he's a green hero so that you can synergize with the green gems and you don't have to mix and match like different colors. You'll be able to get Koharu's skill up and going. And then a tank would be really helpful here. So not Vigo, but like I like, let's show you what green heroes I have, right? So Alexander is going to be great. Eliani is going to be great. Hempy is going to be also really, really good because Hempy also increases attack and increases the defense as well. So one example I can give you is we can go ahead and equip, we can go ahead and set up this team, right? So we're going to go up against blue, and what I'm going to say here is instead of Pan, let's go ahead and bring in, now my Hempy is at level 50, so not as strong as she could be, but she's going to be helpful, right? And we don't bring Gildor here, and instead we have somebody that gives us increased, critical damage, okay? What you want is you want somebody that can do decrease, you want somebody that can do a decrease defense or vulnerability, like all of those things are going to help. And so the best one is going to be Meira that does both. And so what we have here is we have Koharu that's going to have an increased attack, and generally what you want to do is you want to, actually in this case if I'm going to go auto battle, I'm going to probably have Xavier go first. So you want to have somebody that's going to give you, somebody that's going to be able to take away the increased defense. And then let's see, Koharu, and then we will use Hempy for now just as an example. But if we're going to do that, then we're going to have Hempy go first. We're going to have Meira go afterwards. And then we're going to have Koharu go last because she doesn't have any boosts. She doesn't have any debuffs. She's just going to attack, so it's best for her to go last to let everyone else in front of her give her a chance. Give her a chance to get boosted and get the debuffs going, and then she'll be able to deal most damage there. So let's take a look here and see what happens. So Latimer, yeah, Hempy, Santos, like these are some of the examples that I'm showing. So some of the rare heroes are really, really good that you can use. That's going to be able to really help. Increased defense and increased attack just helps your heroes survive and also deal more damage in general. And so all in all, it's going to be a good option for you, to use. Also, because Hempy is a rare hero, very good option to go with. Much easier to obtain than some of the other heroes I'm talking about here. Shreebog is still good, right? Shreebog has been nerfed, but look at that, 55.9 thousand damage on that with the decreased defense and vulnerability and increased attack. If I had also increased critical damage, she's going to be able to deal, I think, upwards of like 65,000, I think, to that enemy. All right, so you saw, right? 22,000 without the critical damage. That one was actually without critical damage because, like I showed you, her ability, her stats is at 82%. There's that 3% chance where I may not get critical damage, and it happened there, right? And so let's take a look and see how much Koharu is able to deal damage now against this boss. If I'm able to get increased attack and also decreased attack and also vulnerability. It's just that right now we need to take away the increased defense, which we do. Okay, so this is going to do not too bad, 20,000 compared to last time when we went up against her. I think she was able to deal about 8,000. And so with this combination, she boosts her damage up by 12,000, more than double her damage based on that. And so Esmeralda is also another good option here because you get Boar King, which gives you additional matches and also critical damage, right? And so that's what we could do. Now I used Streetbach here to give more mana. And what we can do is we can go ahead and change this up a little bit. We can use Esmeralda, who does give a little bit of mana. I don't have her leveled up, so it's not maximum. And let's see. So Xavier is going to give us attack boost. Let's see. Koharu gives better attack. Actually, same attack, right? So Koharu and Xavier both give the same attack. Meira is going to give you increased critical rate, so if you're really lacking on critical rate, you could use Meira as leader. But let's take a look and see if this makes a difference. So remember, we were able to deal approximately 20,000 in a single hit. But the nice thing about Esmeralda's ability to give Boar King is that because you get one extra match, you're going to just gain more gem match damage overall. And so if you have her, that's a good one. Another one that gives you Boar King is also Rhonda. Rhonda is another good option to give you more, give you Boar King. Okay, I'm gonna show you one more hero as well that you can use. That is going to be, what's his name? Ong. So he's the rare hero from Far East faction who also works really well. Okay, so Hempy, Esmeralda, Meira, Xavier, Koharu. So yeah, that's actually the team I'm using right now. So let's take a look and see. So in your case, what you're saying is I should put Hempy on the far left to get the increased attack for everyone, so that they all get the benefit of the damage, and then Esmeralda next for the critical damage and for the Boar King. So there is a optimal way to put your heroes from left to right, and so that's what Latimer is showcasing here. So thank you for that. All right, so let's take a look here. So we're going to get Esmeralda's skill going, okay, and let's see. I'm just going to not auto for a second so I can set everything up. Oh, they took away all the green gems. They took all the green gems away. I'm hoping I don't die actually. Yeah, I still don't have. And because okay, I think, is she gonna attack everyone? Her ability with damage. My Meira may die, so I'm just gonna go ahead and activate. I thought I had set this up. Shoot. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Let's set this up one more time. I was so busy talking, I didn't end up doing this right. I need to start over again. We'll do this one more time after this. Problem with live streaming is when you screw up, you can't just redo it and cut it out in the video and then show the expected behavior. So let's try this one more time afterwards. But the idea here is I wanted to see how much damage she's able to do when she's got everything, right? She's got I actually like another option I could do is I could also just use Etro. Etro is another option. Like it's going to make him, it's going to make Koharu weaker, but if you have a healer in there, it may not be too bad. I forgot to change my setting, but it's okay. So Hempi's actually also built really fast. Her passive ability gives her increased speed for every defense, and so I have her defense pretty high, and so her speed is actually really high right now. So let's see what's her stats. Her speed, 359 is her speed right now, so it's not too bad, right? And so let's go ahead and redo this one more time and see. And by the time, by the way, I haven't gotten a large dust yet, right? So we all know that the large dust drop rate is not too good, but hopefully we can at least get one with this matchup here. So we're gonna go until wave 3, and then we'll set everything all up again. We'll do it manually so that I don't forget about it. By the way, Meira, if you're doing auto battle, Meira is always going to target the red enemy, and so you just need to make sure that you're going to autofocus if you're using Meira. You probably want to use, you can use a hero like Zoe. Zoe's going to give you defense down, but I prefer Gisela over Zoe, because when you're going up against these bosses, it's better to use a single damage dealer for defense down. So what happens is sometimes the boss resists, and then you do defense down to the other enemies, and then you end up losing the ability to you end up matching, you end up like always end up hitting someone else other than the boss, and it's not a fun thing. All right, so let's see, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody's all ready. The boss is the one that is getting focused on. Let's see if we can survive these hits. We do, so let's take away. Okay, good, took it away. Let's go ahead and give ourselves critical damage, increase attack, and let's hope we land both. We do land both, and now let's take a look and see how much damage Koharu can deal. She didn't land her, after all that, she didn't land her critical hit. She didn't land her critical hit after all that. We'll try one more time. Oh my goodness. That is actually kind of funny. After all that, and she's got 82%, right? This is what I mean, like that 82% with a 15% increase. So she's supposed to be a 97% guarantee to have, her critical hit. And on stream, she missed it. It would have been at least around 21,000, I think. But in any case, that's just one example of a setup here. Probably not going to do this. Let's go and take a look at another setup now with Lee. We can talk about what we can do here. So this is sort of like an idea here. These are some of the heroes you can go with. Hempi is a really good option. And yeah, so 9,000 at least did better there, right? So I'll show you the other heroes talking about. So it's going to be a Far East hero on here. I took away one of his things, but he also restores mana and also increases critical damage for all other allies. And so he actually is a decent boost to Lee, in that case. And so let's see, I'm just gonna put, I don't want to sacrifice all of these for now. I want to give him a little bit more health, actually. I guess this is okay. I'll change that later. I was trying to equip him for a ton of speed before. Okay. All right. So let's go back now and take a look. Right. So I think a really good setup here is actually going to be Lee with Gaffle Death. Now, generally, you don't want to do too many of the same color. Okay. So you don't like 2 is ideal. 3 is kind of pushing it, but I'm just going to show you him with Ong, for example, and then you'll want like a different off color, right? And so a different color that you can get here, if there's someone that gives like speed boost, that's going to be really great, and someone that gives additional attack. So if I'm gonna use On, I think maybe what I do is I use Aurora and Streebok, okay, and I'll use Streebok as leader. So actually, I'm gonna get like as much as I can here, and I'm just going to put Lee last. Here's like just an example of a setup here, right? And we'll put Streebok over here. Okay, so now what we have is we've got somebody that gives you attack, somebody gives you speed. Speed is really the ultimate thing if you want to go with Lee, and he's going to be a little bit of a glass cannon. And so the options that you have are here is you can choose to go with a debuffer, like somebody that does decrease defense, or you can go with somebody who's like a tank, right? So you can go with any tank that will absorb the damage, like someone with a taunt, or you can go with someone that can debuff. Right, so I generally like to go with more of a debuff. I just like to go with like more attack, as much attack as I can. That's generally what I like to do. And so, I mentioned before, I already showed Mayra. You can use Gildor as well. Gildor doesn't always land, but not a bad option, because she will make everyone have that. It's just that it's not a guarantee. Gisela is another good one because she does decrease down for a single enemy, and so it makes it easier for you to just like target one. Let's see, we can go with let's see Gisela, okay. And so we're gonna go ahead and do a fight here. We'll auto for now. This is probably not, I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to get everybody's skill going. Maybe I can, I don't know. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make sure that I manual everything. I'll manual everything. This way I can guarantee that I'm gonna be able to get what I need. Okay, and so I've got my, what I need is I need to get the speed from Streebok, right? And then I actually really like On for this reason. Like what he does is he will give everybody mana, and then you'll be able to get attack from, you'll be able to also gain critical damage. So On is actually not a bad hero here. And so you can see the damage I was able to deal, not too bad, right? 1,000 each, but again, he doesn't clear the wave when he's supposed to, right? But this is an example of a setup here where you have somebody that gives speed increase. Zoe is a good one in this case because Zoe does speed increase on the beginning of the wave. And so we can go ahead and change this up a little bit. So let's say we change Gisela. We don't have Streebok. Let's say we don't want to use Streebok. We use Zoe. So we go ahead and change into this. Do I have Zoe here? I guess I don't. I guess I must have her. Let's take a look. So there's Zoe. So we'll go ahead and move you off, and then put you back in here. Okay, so the Zoe, what she does is she has increased speed at the beginning of the wave. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do this, and we'll put Zoe in here. Where is she? It's hard sometimes to find these units. So Zoe has this ability where it grants increased speed to all allies at the start of the wave. So that really helps as well. If you are in a guild fight, then you can use this. So in fact, let's go ahead and do a guild fight here, right? So let's go ahead and let's try Moon Forest for now. Okay, so let's go, maybe not. Well, let's do 20. Let's see. I'm gonna have to change my setup for this. So we said we had Aurora, right? And we had Zoe. I need to do this one more time. Sorry, guys. Here is Zoe, and we had Ong. And we have Lee here, and who was here? Who was here? What I'm missing here is I'm not actually missing anyone per se, and so I can give myself. like I have everything, right? I have my increased attack, I have my speed boost and everything. And you know what I could do is let's just go ahead and add Chen in here, and then we'll go ahead and use Lee as a leader, because what he does is he gives everyone 21 additional speed. Okay, and so we'll go ahead and do this, and let's try and fight. Let's see what happens. So obviously, Ong's not going to deal a lot of damage, but that's okay. I'm hoping that we'll be able to survive this, and then see what happens. Like I have a level 40 in here, so he may die, and we're up against in a level 20 Rift here. But he's fast enough that he can, you know, attack 3 times. But the thing is, it takes him 3 attacks. It takes him 3 actual attacks to take out one purple enemy in the rift in a mob. So not very strong, right? So like you would think that because he's up against a purple enemy that he would be able to deal way more damage than that. And so I feel like Lee's damage potential was much better initially, like in my mind on paper, but when you sort of play him, like he's really fast right now. If you look at his stats, right, his speed is at 380 right now. So, and he was obviously, you know, more than 50 faster than the enemy here, but it still took all 3 hits of his special ability to be able to take him out, right? And granted, 5-star only, level 46, so his attack amount is not that high. Like he's only at 3600 right now. That's probably the reason, but so far it's just kind of like I was hoping that I could see a little bit more even at 5 stars. That's just personally how I feel. So Latimer, does Lee actually add speed in Rift? So Rift is considered a guild. I thought it isn't it a guild? If it's not, then I guess I'm wrong. I thought that for whatever reason, I always thought that Rift is a guild event, but I guess it's just Wars and Raid Boss, I guess. That you might be right about that. We may not actually be able to pass this just because I don't actually have an attacker in here that's going to be able to make a difference here. But we'll see. Let's see what happens here. But I kind of just wanted to sort of show it. And, you know, I kind of put Chin in here just because not thinking about the actual setup and the team I'm going to be using here. So we'll see. It's likely that we're going to end up dying because of all the attacks here, but I just want to kind of show like a team that that I thought could be useful. Yeah, it's not going to work, right? You probably want to take out Chin in this case, and if we're going up against the Rift boss here, you'll probably want a healer in this case, because Lee's going to be kind of a glass cannon. So where do I think Lee's going to be good in, right? So I'm going to quit out this battle here. I think that he's actually going to be pretty good in terms of, like, you know, in mobs. Like, if he works correctly, I think he'll be a good mob clearer. There are obviously better ones that can clear the entire thing rather than 3. But in PvP, if he's able to attack multiple enemies based on his attack, like, he could do well in PvP attack, I think. I'm not sure how strong he's going to be against raid boss though. I don't think he's built to be up against a raid boss. If you look at his skill, it's speed based, and they've made the speed of the bosses so high that it's going to be impossible for you to ever be able to get his second or maybe third. For sure not his third. You may be able to get the second one off if you're against a low level boss, but as it is, he's not built against raid boss. So I think you'll have to scratch that off. There's potential, I think, in PvP, but more likely it's going to be more PvE. So like in your campaigns and maybe in some of the rifts, I'm gonna try and see if I can find a setup that will work well in a rift setup. But so far, you know, he's just okay. He's just okay. Whereas Koharu, I think, has real potential here, because if you're struggling against Skyron, she's going to come clutch. And what I found is that the 2 heroes I have, Rogar, Rogor is actually one of my primary damage dealers across the board, just because like his ability just, you know, makes him deal more damage, you know, period, right? And if I can get my enemies down to just a single one, then I can actually deal a lot of damage to them. And I think that Koharu has this potential as well. And, you know, the potential here is she'll deal more damage if her health is below 50%. So if you can revive her, if you can do something, you can actually maximize her damage output. And she does deal quite a bit of good damage as well. And against a raid boss, there's no question. I think she's going to be pretty good. And so, in my opinion, Koharu is a good epic hero. Lee is kind of like, I don't know, right? I'm waiting to see if there's going to be any changes to his abilities. But in my opinion, of all the legendary heroes I've seen for the Far East faction, I think that, well, I think Akuma has the best damage output for sure. Kiriako has, you know, is best against high health enemies because of her Assassin's Mark. Taiko-san is a beast in PvP defense, and offense too, I think, because if he gets off his skill while at full health, he's going to be able to stun all of your team, so you have to be really prepared for that. Zenko, I've tried. Not as good of a healer as I initially thought, but she can survive a lot of hits because she's got a ton of health. And so in comparison here, like, out of the 5 here, Lee is actually the worst for me of the bunch. I personally like Kiriako and Akuma best because I don't have Taiko-san to try out. But I find that in my Guild Wars, these two, Kiriako and Akuma, are guaranteed to be on my winning team. Okay, Zenko I use on my defense. I haven't really seen her. I haven't really seen the outcome of those just yet to see how good she is in defense. But Lee, I can't imagine him being too useful until I've tried him out at 6 stars, and I have to really play around with. But so far, a little bit on the sort of mediocre side for me. That's my honest opinion of him right now. I might be wrong, and if you have different opinions, would love to hear more about that. So Taiko-san is a beast, come willing deep. I'm willing to believe that. I believe he is. Based on everything I've heard, based on my understanding of his skills, I think he is as well. Right? And I hope that next time I pull a non-dupe legendary is going to be Taiko-san, so I can finish this setup here. Waiting for when the experienced falconers will be available as well. I think Alton is going to be one that's going to be really good for me. I have all the other heroes now except for the working villagers. Those I can easily obtain anytime. But my goal here is actually eventually I'm going to 6-star all of the heroes in the Far East faction. I've done it for Akuma, Kiriako, and Zenko. I'm going to do it for Lee, and when I get Taiko-san, he's obviously immediately going to go 6 stars. And then I already got Koharu to 6 stars. I'm going to work on the Fist of Legends next. And so, so far, I think that, you know, everyone is really great. Still waiting to see if Lee pulls his weight, because so far everybody else has done a great job for me in all my fights. But that's not to say that I don't recommend him. I just think that, you know, you want to make sure that I want to make sure that we get more information about him and how he really works before I really can recommend a team for him. Right now, I think that he's a little bit niche, and his damage potential is not quite where I would like to see him. And so that's going to be it for me, guys. Pretty long stream, actually. It's already a little bit over 50 minutes, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for joining me here. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about Koharu and also about Lee. Love to hear your feedback. Thanks for joining me, guys. And I know it's been a long time. I'll try and, you know, do more of these streams more regularly so I don't do such long ones. But here are the 2 heroes. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care. I'll see you.